Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the One Piece versus 4K podcast. I'm Ben,
I'm Rom.
and we will be comparing the One Piece 4Kids anime to the Funimation dub, sometimes sub, and throwing comparisons to the manga. We're back today for episode 19 of the 4Kids dub, and we will discuss whatever episodes they may be of the Funimation dub at the end. But before we get into it, what has been going on in the One Piece world, Rum?
Yeah, so not anything chapter related. We're currently on a bye week with regards to the chapters. I think part of this is because we're currently in middle of a war. Like actually we're at the start of the war. Like it just started. And what I think is the reason I think there are so many bye weeks right now is that I think they want to get as many chapters of the war done so that they don't have to skip in the future. So I think that's kind of my guess on why they're having like so many bye weeks. It feels like the last last 2-3 chapters, it was like a chapter release, 2 week break, chapter release, 2 week break, chapter release, 2 week break. So that's kind of my hope is that they're just kind of like drawing out and editing and like storyboarding like the full war so that when they have it all done they'll just like release it without break until the end of the war. That's kind of my hope, but I'm not really sure. This is kind of like a weird tangent. There's this one like anime that I used to, it was probably the first anime I ever watched, was the Rosario Vampire anime that I referred to in I think the second episode of our podcast. And the manga that the show was based after, I don't know if it's just the tendency of the guy, because the guy actually released a new manga and like the first 2 chapters are like insanely long. But in that Rosario Vampire manga, what happened was that there was like apparently from what I read, there's like an extended delay between like a certain amount of chapters, and the reason for that delay was because the author or creator of the manga, he wanted to actually get all the fight scenes in like one chapter. He didn't want to do it in like weeks. He wanted to do it in one chapter. That's not necessarily the case with One Piece. Like here, they will definitely have like a huge battle, and then they'll do a pause, and then like they'll continue on next week and stuff. So it's not quite like that, but I do think and this is and all of this is mainly speculation, by the way. None of this is like true, but I'm just kind of speculating that like they're doing this just so that they can like hash out all the war scenes and they can release it nonstop, like they won't like without any bye weeks or anything. So that's just kind of my side chapter theory. But the episode this week, so I think last week I was talking about how this week I'd be crying about this episode. I unfortunately, well, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, however you look at it. I didn't cry this week because the thing that was supposed to happen in the anime that I thought would happen this week is actually going to happen next week. So I am looking forward to the waterworks that I'll have next weekend, unless they decide to further delay it, which I don't think they will. This is kind of one of the complaints from the manga community. Like one of the complaints from the manga community is that the anime stretches out, and I get why they do that certain times. It's to kind of give like Oda and like the manga creators some space to kind of like put out more chapters, because the more like they can put out new chapters, the less like filler stuff that we'll have. Is where it's kind of getting at. So yeah, that's kind of like what's been going on with the episodes. And I guess like the last bit of One Piece news is that Oda recently did like an interview, and that's kind of been making its rounds around like the One Piece community. Is he talked about how he wanted to finish this manga in 4 to 5 years. Now he actually said this last year as well, and the thing was, fans would usually kind of just like say, they would kind of like dismiss it just because of how big the story is. But then one of the editors talked about how he's actually like rushing at the pace that he's going with the current arc. If he continues that pace, he can definitely see him wrapping up the series in 4 to 5 years. Um, and this is actually, even though I am reading the manga chapters week by week by week, I am seeing this arc a little, even though it's going to be the largest arc that we've had in the One Piece like series. Even though it is going to exceed that, it still feels a little rushed. But I think it's just I think it's just his way of saying that it's kind of coming to an end, rather than like specifically 4 to 5 years. Because back in the early 2010s, I want to say it's like 2010 and 2011, potentially 2012 too. He came out and he said One Piece is going to go on for 10 more years, and then he came out the next year. He said One Piece is going to continue for 10 more years, and that was just kind of the yearly thing. And then finally now he's like, well, One Piece is going to come is going to finish in 4 to 5 years. I think it's just his way of telling fans, hey, look, we're actually like near the end. So it's like there's like get ready, because this the thing is going to end in 4 to 5 years. So I mean, fans are also kind of like there is a little bit like I know some of the fans are kind of like a little hesitant, because like there's so much that needs to be wrapped up, because there's so many things that have been opened, like so many can of worms have been opened, that we're just like, how is he going to finish it in 4 to 5 years? I think 6 to 7 is probably a more realistic um like count on how long it'll take. But yeah, 4 to 5 years is what he said. So 2024, 2025 is when is the supposed target date for him to finish One Piece. But yeah, that's just kind of the One Piece blurb, I guess. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. What about you? What's been going on with you?
Yeah, so this past weekend, my wife and I made some a type of Mexican sweetbread called conchas, and
Mm,
it was very good. It took a long time to make. It's the first time we ever made like baked any type of bread.
okay.
So with as long as it took and how many ingredients were involved, we thought it was just going to turn out terrible, and we would have wasted our whole time. But it actually turned out really good, and I was satisfied, and she enjoyed it too. So that was fun. Other than that, I was playing a game called Blur for the PlayStation 3. It's kind of like a Mario Kart game, but you're like driving real cars, not like small carts. But there's like power ups and stuff. I thought I was almost done. I had to do like so I've beaten like every level except for the final, like I guess cup you could call it, but I can't get to it because I have to gather enough points to get there. So I'm now having to go back to the older tracks and get like better times or better like get these bonus things, like these gates I have to drive through. I have to drive through like 12 gates and like that just randomly pop up, and I have to drive through them like without missing them. And it's getting really hectic and almost aggravating, because not only do I have to go through all those gates, but I also have to get at least in third place again. And it's just annoying because when I'm trying to focus on the gates, that's what I'm focusing on. And by the time I'm done with that, then I have to hope that I was also trying to pass people while I was doing that, or else I just have to use the next 2 laps if I'm lucky, and I have 2 laps to try to catch up to the other people, other racers on the track, and try to make it into third place. Uh, of course, what keeps happening to me is I keep getting in like fourth, and then I just get super pissed. Um, but yeah, it's kind of frustrating, especially since I've already beaten every single one of these tracks in first place.
Mhm.
It's just frustrating that they would make you do that to like lock in what you've done. But yeah, it's been challenging, and I thought I was almost done. I had like, I think like 30 points that I needed to get, and I got like about 20 points, but somehow I miscalculated it, and I thought I was only like one away. I was like, okay, great. And then I just checked the amount of points I needed again, and it turned out I needed like 11 more. So I think I'm gonna give up for a little bit, at least for maybe a month, and maybe try to go back to it. Because I had already done this like earlier this year. I played it a little bit, and then I got to the point where I was like, oh, this is like impossible. But I did do a lot, so I think it's achievable sometime. I just really need to give it a break because it's really getting at me. But
Are
yeah,
you enjoying this, or like are you enjoying it at least?
I don't know. I don't actually know at this point. I just want to beat the game because I'm so
Oh
close.
man, that's hilarious, man.
It's just like I don't know. I just feel like I do enjoy the game, and I know I'm gonna enjoy the next tracks that I unlock because it'll be like I won't have to go. I won't have to do this gate thing. I'll just be able to play the tracks normally. And I know I'll enjoy that, but the only annoyance is like these challenges that I have to do before I get there.
Yeah, that's true, man. Yeah, yeah, no. It's like
But
sometimes.
yeah, I mean that's why I'm taking a break because I'm at the point now where I'm not enjoying it. But I think when I come back and maybe a month's time, I'll at least be like there's a certain point where I get to playing a game. Like if I just get like too aggravated, I'll just keep losing over and over. But if I come back to it, I'll usually end up doing like better. So.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I guess we should probably get into this episode.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said earlier, this is episode 19 for the 4Kids dub. The episode title is King of the Busboys.
That's a pretty good name.
Yeah, I think it's fitting too.
Yeah.
So the episode starts off with a random woman asking her darling where he will take her today. He then tells her the greatest restaurant in the world, and that for her, he will go to the ends of the earth. Uh, then then you like see that it's like a Navy ship, and then it like cuts to Johnny from the last episode, the mysterious guy who comes aboard the ship that Zolo somehow knows. So we see Johnny kind of waking up on the ship after being knocked out, as Zolo asks him what he's doing there. And he says, oh, by the way, where's Yosaku? And Johnny reveals he's aboard his ship and that he's sick. He says just a few days ago he became pale and bedridden, and that his teeth started falling out and old wounds started to open up, and his breathing started to sound like a rubber squeezy toy. So he pulled up to a rock, I guess, to take a rest when a cannonball blast had hit him. Um, so yes. So he said and then he goes, when the cannonball hit him, he lost most of his teeth. So that was a little bit confusing because I thought he was losing his teeth from the sickness. But yeah, that's what happens. Is that pretty much the same thing that happens in yours up to this point?
Sort of. I mean, like, he doesn't quite. Well, so I wanted to ask you one quick thing at the beginning. What was the Marine and his lovely partner? What were they drinking? Were they drinking anything?
I mean, I didn't really notice, but there is something they might have been drinking wine or whatever.
Yeah, they were drinking.
Yeah, I didn't remember that, but later on, there's something interesting about this that's very funny. I'll get to it when we get there.
Yeah, I guess besides that, yeah, for the most part, it's pretty much 1-to-1 so far. Yeah, they went to the little island just to kind of like rest because he was like falling sick. The other guy, Yosako, did he like was he bleeding? Like, did you see blood where he was bleeding, where his old wounds were, or did he just like wrap him up and that was
No,
it?
he just looked like kind of green.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, pretty much. So far, 1-1. On
Okay.
that so far, yeah.
So then Nami walks over and checks Yosaku's tongue and tells Usopp and Luffy to go get some limes from the kitchen and to drip it over his mouth. She reveals that he has scurvy, and Johnny calls her a doll. Nami says scurvy used to be sailors' worst enemy, but they just need to eat lots of fruit and they will be fine. Johnny says it doesn't work for them, that they are on one of those low carb diets. What does
Oh,
he not? What does he say in yours?
I mean, no, it was just Nami like straight up. One, he never calls Nami doll.
Oh,
He
okay.
actually calls her sister. He actually calls her like Sister Nami or something.
Okay. Wow.
And yeah. So I think Four Kids definitely took a more adult way of
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but like yeah, I mean it was just yeah, it was like he called her Sister Nami. And they just didn't know. He just talked about how like his teeth were falling out, and then yeah, Nami told Luffy and Usopp to go get some limes, and she talks about scurvy and stuff.
But
And
they didn't
yeah,
mention
they
that
didn't
they're on
mention
a low
anything
carb
about a low
diet.
carb diet. No, I don't think I
Oh,
remember
okay.
that. No.
Got it. I guess that's just totally American humor right there.
Yeah.
Um, so then Usopp and Luffy are impressed that Nami knows so much, and then she's pissed because they don't know anything at all and they're pirates. All of a sudden, Yosaku gets up and Johnny and him cheer about being cured, um, which I think is just kind of really strange because, like, they're just like, yeah, we're saved or whatever, but like Johnny was never sick. Uh,
Mm.
So then they reveal that they were Zolo's old pirate hunting partners and they used to have a lot of fun. Zolo tells them that these pirates are great, and after all, they cured him. Um, as Yosaku falls down again, Nami reveals he'll be okay, he just needs some rest. Usopp says uh, he's going to get scurvy soon. So then they're like eating dinner or whatever. Usopp says he's going to get scurvy soon if he doesn't get some good food. And Nami reveals it's all they have. You know, what she's cooked is all they had. Luffy then comes up with a wonderful idea that they should get a good chef. And it's kind of funny because it's a throwback to the episode before where he, instead of saying they needed a chef, that they needed a musician. So it's kind of like he's
Um,
thinking that it's his idea, but it was not his idea.
yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much the same. Like, yeah, Luffy always his kind of like crazy antics about how yeah, he wanted like a musician.
Yeah. Um. So yeah. So then Johnny says he knows where to get a good chef, but he can't guarantee he will join. But it's towards the Grand Line. He also mentions there's a pirate that Zolo wanted to fight around that way. The crew and their new friends sail off. They then arrive at the bistro of the Barati, which is a restaurant on a boat. It's like a huge fish like theme, I guess. We then see Yusaku wake up and notice that a Navy ship is approaching. It's that same ship that we had seen in the opening, and the rest of the crew notices too. The Navy man hops aboard and announces uh, he is the Iron Fist full body and asks for the captain to identify themselves. At this point, Luffy and Usopp both speak up, and the Navy man realizes that Yosaku and Johnny uh, are, bounty hunters, and he calls them out for it. And he says he's glad that they finally got caught by some pirates. The woman tells her lover to come on as she's hungry. As Yosaku and Johnny reveal all of the bounties that they've caught. Then, as the Navy man walks off, he tells his crew to take care of them, and they fire a cannon into the ship, which Luffy then catches with his Gum Gum slingshot and flings back into the roof of the Barati bistro. And
Okay. I guess like a good kind of like stopper right there. So the actually it's like the Baratier. Did they really call it Barati, or was it like Baratier and then you just kind
I
of
think I couldn't remember what it was called. I took the note,
okay.
but yes, I think you're correct. Yeah, Baratier.
Okay. And then like a few differences between the manga and the anime. Actually, this is actually a pretty big difference. So one thing is in that in the anime, Johnny and Yosuko, they talk about how there's like a restaurant they know where there's like a bunch of chefs that they could hire as their ship's cook, right? So, and this was the same thing in the Funimation dub as well. Like, they talk about how like they know a restaurant where they can hire a chef or a cook, and but in the manga, they actually say that they know someone they could grab to be the ship's cook, but they don't know if he would like join. So they had like a person in mind in the manga, but like in the anime, they just say they just got kind of it was just made in a way that you think any one of the chefs, but in the manga they had like one specific chef in
Oh,
mind.
well, that's interesting because in the Four Kids dub, I'm pretty sure they said they acted like they had some one person in mind, not people on the entire ship.
Yeah, I mean, in the Funimation dub, it felt like they were just talking about how like they're gonna go to the Barati and like they're just gonna and we're gonna find out about like the chefs in a little
Yes.
bit, but like it was just one of those things where it's like um it was just they're just all like these heart chefs, and that was the way at least it was presented to me. And when I read the manga, like it was like, oh, they actually had one person in mind. And the other thing, you said that they mentioned they know a certain pirate that Zoro might be interested in.
Yes.
Yeah, so they don't actually say that specifically in the Funimation dub or the manga. They actually say there's a specific Mihawk man that you might be interested in, Zoro, and that's the same thing that they say in the manga too. They talk about how like there's like a special Mihawk man that Zoro might be interested in. Um,
Wait. So, what is a Mihawk man?
you're gonna find out.
Okay.
And then the one thing that we kind of like left on where you said he uses a gum slingshot. Same thing kind of happens in the Funimation dub. He uses a gum slingshot, but in the manga, Luffy doesn't use a gum slingshot. So in the anime, we see Luffy uses a gum slingshot and like his hand slip and it like explodes in the Baratier, right?
Yep.
In the manga, Luffy actually uses gum balloon, and he's like all happy about it, and then Zoro points out how like he actually aimed it at the wrong place, and it like hits the Bratier. So that
Mm.
was just the difference between the manga and the anime that I kind of noticed. But yeah.
I don't. I can't remember. Has he even used the Gum Gum balloon yet in the anime?
When he bounced off the buggy ball.
Oh yeah, you're right. Okay, I remember that now. Gotcha. Okay. Um. So yeah, all of a sudden we then notice the boss. I guess he's like the boss or head chef of the restaurant has been hit by the cannon. Uh, he kind of shakes it off and says that the chef must serve his customers no matter what. All of a sudden, his other crew members drag Luffy aboard as Luffy seems to be terrified of what they will do to him. He apologizes for blowing up his leg because this chef, we find out his name is Zeph. He has a plank for a leg.
Okay. Yeah. Same. Yep.
So he says, "Don't worry about it. It wasn't Luffy that did that, and he will pay and Luffy says not to worry, that he will pay, but he doesn't have any money. Zeph asks him how he plans to pay and that he can make it up to him by working there free for a year. Nami is now back on the ship with the rest of the crew, says that he should have blamed it on the Navy ship and that, he's too honest. Now we see that there's, everyone is, it cuts to all the people inside of the restaurant itself, and we see that everyone is just staring at Full Body. One lady randomly says that he's so hot, and his Full Body's lady says that everyone's looking because he's with a woman like her. Next, the server comes over and Full Body thanks him for the superb grape juice from 54, like the year 1954. And he says it's very full body and very dry. So I just thought that was hilarious because what the hell kind of grape juice would you be drinking from 1954? Like, why did they even leave that in there? What's the point? I mean, I guess a kid's not going to get it, but I don't know, man. It's just like, why even leave the year part in there?
Yeah,
And then say it's full body and then very dry. So, yeah, that was funny. So then he asked the waiter if he's right as he grabs his hand. So the waiter then grabs his hand and sticks a spoon in it and tells him that his name is Sanji, and that he wouldn't want him to guess that wrong too as he walks away. Full Body is pissed off and sticks his spoon in the soup as you hear what the girl's thinking, and she's thinking that he's so full of himself. Then we hear his thoughts in his head, and he's saying, what's the matter? He told the waiter before to bring out that specific year. Next, we see Zeph and Luffy negotiating for his work, and they are arguing about 1 or 2 weeks. Zeph says no, as Luffy suggests 3 weeks, and then which Zeph spins around his leg and knocks Luffy into the floor. Luffy then tells him it's taken him 10 years to become a pirate and he can't give up another year of his life. Zeph says he understands his point, but they can solve it by cutting off Luffy's leg. Luffy says he's crazy, and Zeph says, crazy for that leg of yours. And that's where we are at this point. So is it still pretty much the same for you, other than the wine?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's obviously the wine. So pretty much, yeah, he kind of does something where he's full of himself, where he's like, he basically says like when he's in the restaurant, everybody knows him as Lieutenant Full Body and stuff, and yeah, then he asks like, is this wine like some specific wine from, I don't know, it was like a very specific wine, and Sanji says nope, that's wrong, and then he sticks a spoon in his hand and says, drink up before the soup gets cold. And then you don't really hear anything, like she doesn't have any kind of inner thought about him being like full of himself. She just kind of snickers a little bit, and everybody around them kind of snickers a little bit, and he's just embarrassed. And he, in his mind, he's talking about how he told the owner to bring that specific wine. And then you kind of hear the guy in the back saying that that he is that like he's not a server, he's actually the sous chef. And and then you kind of cut to Luffy and Zeph. They're trying to negotiate that, and Luffy talks about how he's been wanting to be a pirate for over 10 years and he doesn't want to give up another year. And then same thing, Zeph asks him, do you want to cut off your leg? And then Luffy says no, and then they get smashed into the main floor. And
Okay. So then this next scene, I don't know why, it was really confusing to me. Then we see Johnny and Yusaku like kind of fixing a ship, but we can't tell what ship it is.
Oh, it's their ship. It's the Going
So it's
Merry.
So it's their own ship, but I don't even remember it being broken.
I mean, remember, like when Johnny came on the ship, he cut down one of the ledges when he was trying to get one of the crew members out there.
Oh, so wait, you said he's fixing the Mary?
Yeah, basically,
Yeah,
like
okay, got it.
in the last episode, Johnny comes in and then like he gets into a fight with Luffy and like he cuts some part of the
I gotcha.
railing
Yes,
and
I vaguely remember that now. Yeah, yeah, that okay. I got it. Barely remember that, but okay.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just thought it
yeah,
was
you
weird that
remember.
they even had like that scene, and almost even pointless because then it all of a sudden immediately cuts to Nami and uh, you know the rest of the crew heading over to the restaurant.
Yeah.
Um, all of a sudden, back at the dinner table, we see Full Body kill a bug that crawls under his table. He then calls Sanji, the waiter, over. As Sanji says, he is not the waiter, but he's the assistant chef, and asks the woman, what's a beautiful lady doing with a man like him? Full Body then asks him to taste the soup, that a fly has landed in it, and Sanji comes back saying a whole bunch of nonsense that doesn't really make any sense to me. And then, like, everyone in the restaurant starts to laugh.
What does he say?
He says, like, is it something? I don't know. He like says something like so fast, and then he's like, "Oh, is it a butterfly or something?" Like,
Oh, okay, okay. So in the Funimation dub and also in the manga, like, basically how that interaction is that like, and this is actually kind of creepy between the dub and the manga. So in the dub, yeah, there's like a bug crawling down, and he takes it, and he puts it in the, he puts it in the soup, and Full
so
Body
this is
falls
the
over.
thing that makes no sense. You're saying this happens in the manga?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This also happens in the manga. Although in the manga, he says he apparently has like a stock of bugs or something that he puts on food if he ever. I don't know. It talks about some sort of weird stock, but I'll kind of like talk about that after we finish. Why he might have that. But yeah, it was just his thing. He puts it in the soup, and he asks Sanji to come over, and he's like, "Look at what this bug is doing." And it's at that point, Sanji in the anime, he said, "It looks like the bug is swimming in the soup." And then everybody laughs. But in the manga, he actually says it looks like the bug is doing the backstroke, sir. And then everybody laughs because of that joke. But yeah.
Okay, but the weird thing is that I, man, this is such a weird thing to get hung up on, but he kills a bug on the floor that is not a fly, and then he says that there's a fly in his soup, and you don't even see him pit it. You don't even see him put the bug in the soup.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Do you actually see him put the bug in the soup in the Funimation?
I don't know. I think it's just we see the. I guess it's kind of intended that he, when he saw the bug down, he then picked it up and put it in the soup.
Yeah.
Um, and that's in the Funimation dub. Like in the manga, like apparently he has like a compartment of bugs or something, which
Okay.
I'll kind of get to a little later. But yeah.
All right. That's weird. All right. So yeah. So then Sanji tells him how dare he waste food like that, as Full Body says he's the customer and Sanji is just a lowly chef. Full Body tells him to stay in his place. Um, and his place is, bowed down at his feet. As his girl tries to interrupt, he knocks her to the ground. Uh, so a lot of violence here against women, even in the Four Kids dub. We then see Sanji do some kind of like breakdancing move from a handstand and spins around and hits him. As we also see Zeph hitting Luffy. And then Zeph tells Luffy that is it going to be a year of his life or his leg? He has to choose one. Luffy says no, he doesn't, as Zeph calls him a stubborn brat. All of a sudden, Zolo and his crew burst in and see Sanji picking up Full Body by the head. saying he should never mess with a chef at sea, especially when it's Sanji. The rest of the chefs say that they got to stop him. And then the episode ends with Luffy gritting his teeth in anger.
Okay. So yeah, I guess like I'll kind of like talk about where my episode was. So actually, yeah. So basically, wait, does Full Body actually like smash the table in anger and the soup?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, yeah, that's where we kind of pick up like so like Full Body's all embarrassed and he smashes the table, and the soup is like all on the floor, and Sanji gets mad that like they put a lot of work into the soup and he could have just drank the soup by taking the fly out or whatever, the bug out. And then Full Body goes into a rant about how he should know his place. He's just a chef, and he's like, I'm like this big shot marine and stuff. And Full Body's girlfriend tries to calm him down, but he just throws her in the side. And then Sanji, and this is kind of something that he'll kind of talk about later. He does kind of do this move where he kicks him using his legs, and then same thing with Zeph. And next thing we know, Zoro, Nami, and Usopp enter in the Bratier, and you see Sanji just kind of holding like a bloodied up um, Full Body on his with his one hand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, and then you finally, and in like the Funimation dub, you actually see his face for the first time at the end of the episode. um, and with the manga though, it's like you don't see him actually swing his leg. He just gets angry, and then when Zoro, Usopp, and Nami come in, um, you just see him holding Full Body in his hand. And okay, Sanji's voice, was it unique?
Yes. Both of the chefs on this ship actually kind of had like a New York, Brooklyn type of accent.
Okay. This is actually something I was very much looking forward to because, like, of the highlights that I've seen online, Sanji's voice was like the one thing I was like really looking forward to because I know he has like a very distinct voice. It's
Would you
totally
say it's kind of like a New York accent?
yeah, definitely, yeah. Definitely a New York, Brooklyn kind of
Yeah.
accent or something like that. Yeah, I figured Zeph would have like an accent too. And then Sanji, is he? What does he have? It like? Is he always? What does he have in his mouth? Like in mine, he has a cigarette.
Oh yeah, no, can't do that. He has a lollipop in his mouth.
Okay, I guess like he's gonna hurt
It
his
looks
teeth.
like it's kind of like a dum dum type of lollipop.
Yeah,
From what
yeah,
I can gather, at least it seems like it.
yeah. He definitely has a cigarette in his mouth all the time, which is kind of weird because like some of the other chefs don't have a cigarette, so I don't know, maybe it's just the creator projecting some things on him. But yeah, so he constantly has like a cigarette in his mouth, and he's always like smoking and stuff. So and one thing I wanted to mention about Lieutenant Fullbody is that he's more brutal in the manga. Like when we're introduced to Full Body in the manga, he's like this very dark guy. He's like he has this very brooding kind of thing when he says, "What's that disgusting like ship that's on the side there?" It's almost in like a brutal way from the beginning. Like at the beginning when we're first introduced to Full Body, like here he's like this romantic guy or something,
Hmm.
but in the actual manga, it's like he's like this brute who's like, "What is that source site?" And his girlfriend is the one who tries to like pull him awake, kind of keep him calm. And he's like, "Well, it's my day off, so I'm gonna be with them, be with my girl and stuff." And the reason I kind of mentioned that is later on with the bug scene, it like in the anime we see him pick a dead bug, and then he puts it in there, or sorry, a bug, and he puts it in there. And then in the manga he talks about how like he has like a stock full of bugs or something, and he used one from the stock or something like that. Maybe it's like bugs in the stock of food, maybe, I'm not sure. But apparently he has like a stock of bugs that he just pulled from and put it on the soup. So
He probably has like a secret thing like up his sleeve, like a poker hand type thing.
yeah, something like that with bugs. So yeah, so he's more of a brute in the at least like in the introduction, he's more of a brute. Um, and
Gotcha.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah, yeah, and then yeah, pretty much that's where it ends too. Like Sanji just has full body in his grip, and yeah, that's where the episode ends.
All right. So, what was the episode number for you and the episode name?
So the episode was episode 20, and the name of the episode was "Famous Cook Sanji of the Sea Restaurant." The manga chapter is chapter 43, and the title of that chapter is Sanji.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so actually, one thing I kind of like should have probably mentioned in like some of the other ones, some of the chapters like they're named after like the main character that like introduced in that chapter. Like for instance, like the chapter where Nami was introduced, the title of the chapter was named Nami, and it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of similar with Sanji right now. So yeah,
Got it. Well,
um,
yeah, I think that's it for this episode. We'll be back next week covering episode 20 of the 4Kids dub. Hopefully, just episode 21 of the Funimation dub. We'll figure it out when we get there. But thanks for listening, everyone.
yep.